live.
Hiya.
Happy New Year.
I will bring in the new year by shaking up a Bloody Mary mix. Right? That would be a bit of a mess.
Yeah. So, welcoming in the new year. All right. The holidays are now almost over. Almost.
Right, almost.
Okay. What's next? Wait. Because there's still one more holiday to come. Do you know what it is next weekend?
There's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. No, that one. Oh gosh, I know President's Day is going to be next month. What else is in January?
It's Russian Christmas. See, I grew up in a Russian Orthodox family, so I mean, we celebrated Russian Christmas, and Russian Christmas was not like Christmas.
Okay.
Russian Christmas was all about family and fun and celebrating and partying and enjoying time with the family. And we were talking about just this week with my mom and talking about, how growing up, that was the thing we looked forward to, was to go hang out with everybody. It was not, hey, what presents do we get? No.
It was just
a time.
Nice.
It was a time specifically built for a show like yours and mine. Yeah.
So is it on a specific day or is it a specific weekend?
The 7th of January is Russian Christmas.
Okay.
So, and like my Christmas lights stay up every year. I've done this every year now for years. My Christmas lights stay up until the 8th, and I take them down on the 8th.
Okay.
Every year. So, Ross Brand. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen Ross in a long time. Good to see him, man. Thanks for stopping by, Ross. So, anyway, today's episode is about the tale of two vodkas. But what's the greatest thing you can mix with vodka?
Bloody Mary mix.
Yeah. So, if you notice, all right, I've always had yours, but now you have in your hands some Texas Dripping Springs vodka.
That's right.
Yep. All right.
And you have in your hands the delicious Crater Lake from
Crater Lake vodka.
And this one, the reason y'all see the difference is because I put this in the freezer.
That was frozen, yeah.
And then I put this one in. I didn't put this one in the freezer. It is cold, just because the office has been cold. I've kept it in the office since I picked it up. But this one, I did throw it in the freezer this morning. It's been there. Wanted it nice and chilled because why not? I usually like to keep my vodka in the freezer. And one thing that I learned is that if you do your own like simple syrup or any type of sauce of that, anything you're going to be mixing with, if you add a teaspoon of vodka, it'll help it hold more than 2 weeks.
Really?
Yep.
So basically, when I got sick, I should have had a teaspoon of vodka to carry me over 2 weeks.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I'd known that, I would not have been sick again for the Christmas holidays.
Right, in the Latino community, it's a shot of tequila for everything. Let's do some tequila and it fixes it. Kind of like a hot toddy, but with tequila. And tequila and lemon. You just take it down and it kills everything.
Well, I think, though, before we do Bloody Marys, you know what I think we should do? And I don't have a shot glass, but I think we can do it in a glass.
Okay.
Is I think we should taste each vodka.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think I might have one.
I'm just going to use the one glass because I have something to rinse out. So.
Yeah, I do have my little glass. I think I might have another one, but we'll just.
I also have my water glass here, so. Anyway.
I do have my water glass because I had 2 extras. So
not a lot. We're just gonna do just a taste testing of each one.
And the funny thing is that nobody's in the office today. All the carriers are closed, so it was kind of nice. I didn't have to worry about too many calls, not that many calls. But
people wondering in, going, "What the heck are you drinking in there, girl?"
Well, what I wanted to do was get somebody from the office. I was going to have them each put the vodka in 2 different shot glasses and write down which one they put where. And then I was going to seal it until I did the taste test and then open it and see what it was. But nobody came in the office. Not even my neighbors were here. I mean,
Oh, man.
nobody. I don't even know if Black Bear Diner even opened up today.
That would have been a cool thing to do. Is a blind. We're going to have to work on this, a blind taste test on our show.
Yeah, and I so wanted to do that, but nobody was here, and it was my goodness.
This is something this is something we're going to have to do at the live shows. When we do live shows this year, all right, where we're together at a bar, we're going to have to do blind taste tests.
Yes. Oh my goodness, this one's tight. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, the Crater Lake one was really tight.
You know what I'm going to do?
Mine was tight because of traveling.
Yeah, no, it's pretty tight. I'm going to have to go get one of those little little things because I'm not going to be able to open this without some assistance. Yeah, I'll be right back. So bear with me. Show everybody the food you have.
Okay. So what I'm doing for food tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is just some simple things to go with a Bloody Mary. Number one, we always are a fan on this show of shrimp cocktails. So I just got me some good, grocery store shrimp cocktail. All right. Something I found in the grocer's freezer I think this was last week, and I found them last night. I'm like, I'm going to make them. They are stuffed jalapenos wrapped in bacon. So they're fresh out of the oven. They're probably, I pulled these out like probably 90 seconds before we went on air today. I pulled them out of the oven and put them here. So they're a little warm. And then I have all my fixings today for our Bloody Mary. All right. I kept here on the side. And I've got things that I would put. I don't have some things, but things I always put in a Bloody Mary is olives, celery, pickles, and a Slim Jim. Always.
Oh, Slim Jim, yes.
I have a Slim Jim. Now I have some beef jerky here, but I didn't have the toothpicks and stuff to do it with. So that's just what I did for food today because I wanted to go simple Bloody Mary stuff because the whole objective of today was not necessarily focus on the Bloody Mary, but it was to focus on which vodka it tastes better with.
Yeah.
Right? Because this is the first time we've done it that we've had my Texas vodka, all right, and Gladys's Oregon vodka. Because we both have great taste and we both have great distilleries, but both of these distilleries don't go to each other's states. So we found a way. That's all we're going to say is we found a way to do it.
There's always a way. When there's a will, there's a way.
There's a way to get it into each other's state. All right. So that's what we did to do this show today, because I really, this is a vodka that Gwen and I have been drinking for years. All right. And, I know a lot of people say Texas vodka. They think Tito's.
Tito's.
And Tito's is a great name brand. All right. It's great across here. But these small distilleries like Crater Lake and Dripping Springs are small distilleries. And that craft made in that small distillery is what makes you and I excited.
Very fun. Well, what I did for food is that I was talking to one of my friend Mary this weekend was that because we went to Ewing Young, they had a Bloody Mary extravaganza for New Year's. So it was come have some Bloody Marys, have some mimosas. There's food cart. It was outside. Even though it was cold, it was a lot of fun. And I was telling Mary about all the things that I've eaten on Bloody Marys. And one of them was sliders. So I had to have a slider. And then, of course, one of the things that we had were bacon and...
Put that close to the camera, as close as you can so they can see that. Hell yeah.
Bacon. This is one fat slider. Oh my goodness, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course, my go-to is always the cheese and the olive. This is pimento stuffed olive with cheddar cheese. And then of course, celery.
Yes.
So one of the things that they were talking about that you can add for additional veggies and garnishes, rosemary, and then you can add more Tabasco or sriracha, all these things. And I'm like, and I told Mary, you don't need any of that because they're using Mary's mixers. And when you have Mary's mixers, you really don't need to add anything else. So
another shout out to our wonderful sponsors this year who actually did help us last in 2022. Thank you so much, Mary's Mixers, for giving us some samples last year. Coming on the show with us live too. Yes, that was awesome.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah. And so we added celery and we added olives. She also had the pickled green beans and asparagus. She added shrimp. I added bacon, but somehow they also threw. They didn't have any cherry tomatoes that I had asked for, so they threw a shrimp in there for me. So they were small. That was the disappointing part. Most of the time, when you're getting a Bloody Mary,
you want a shrimp. By the way, with Bloody Mary, you want a shrimp.
Yes. And these are pretty good size. What we got there, we were a little bit smaller. It was a little disappointing, but it was about the experience. The place was just amazing. We're going to be posting some pictures of that event. It was a lot of fun. In the summer, that place is just gorgeous. But even during the winter, being cold, they did have the heaters and everything, so we were able to enjoy. But Mary's Mixers was there, and Ewing Young does have their own vodka. So sorry, Ewing, I had the Crater Lake here, so and the Dripping Springs. So this is what I was going with today. But shout out to them for.
So no, but I really wanted to, right? Because we have a vodka here that we're going to do it. You and I are going to do it one day on the show. And it's a vodka here from Texas called Giddy Up. And it's from my other my Iron Wolf that I love down in down the hill country, west of Austin, right? And my friend Sandra D took me there, all right, and we found that place and fell in love with it. It has got horseradish in it.
Oh,
yeah. Anyway,
Giddy
so
Up.
you tasting vodkas? You started with yours, or did you start with mine?
I started with yours. I will tell you, the very first time, this was 20 some odd years ago. My goodness, 23 years ago. I think it was maybe 24 years ago. I was I don't even remember what I was drinking at the time, but somebody that I was dating, he was very much into Grey Goose. That was the thing, Grey Goose. And it's like, what's the difference? And we're at the bar and he's all, what? What do you mean? What's the difference? So he orders Grey Goose and he ordered the well, whatever the well was. Yeah. And so he's all, smell them. And so that's why I did the smell test. Can you smell it? Well, the well drink, yes, I could smell the alcohol. Whereas the Grey Goose, I could not smell it. It was like so clean. So I tasted the one and it was, and I tasted the other. And of course the well drink, it was just like burning in my mouth, up my nose going, whoa. Whereas the smoothness was like, it was just really good. And with this Dripping Springs, there was almost like a citrusy, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
After it's like I'm tasting almost, I'm feeling citrus at the end. That's what something kind of clean, something very light, where it's kind of there's a certain yum. I do like that.
Yeah, see the Crater Lake still seems to have that. It's not vanilla-y, but vanilla in like the calming of vanilla bean.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
it has that smoothness of the vanilla.
Mm-hmm. A little bit.
Dripping Springs doesn't have that smoothness.
It doesn't have the smoothness that Crater Lake does, but it has a nice. I don't know. It's this aftertaste, but it's a good aftertaste where it just feels kind of fresh. It feels almost citrusy.
It's a vodka you can take and put an ice cube in and have by itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just and this one, the Crater Lake, does have more of it just envelops your tongue and just goes, okay, and just sits there just nicely. And yeah, pinky up. I think I had talked about the pinky since I'm in the little. Got the pinky.
Anyway. But no, you said that about Grey Goose, and you know what it reminded me of?
What's that?
What was that movie with Jessica Chastain into it? It was about the girl. It was about the girl who ran the poker. I can't remember. She ran the poker parties and poker tables and gambling in New York City as well as Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
No. All right. It's based on a true story.
Okay.
Right? And in the movie, she meets the guy who originally gets connected to her to start this. She meets him at a bar, and she's a waitress and he's a guest. Okay. And she says, "How about a bottle of Grey Goose?" You look like Grey Goose got people. And he goes, what does a Grey Goose person look like? And she goes, well, first off, he has a bottle of Grey Goose in his hand.
There you go.
Yeah. That to me, all right, tells me it's a name. That's what it said. I mean, I'm not picking on Grey Goose. To me, it sounds okay. It's a name.
It's a name. Yep.
I don't drink my alcohol because it's a name.
Yeah, right.
Jack Daniels is a great name, but Jack Daniels regular, I'm sorry, it's vanilla, too vanilla for me. I don't drink it anymore. It's not enough.
Well, look at our redneck Riviera whiskey that we drink. It's like I poo-pooed it. It's like, why would I have a drink that's redneck in the name? It just doesn't sound like something.
It was the biggest surprise I think we had. Yeah.
Yes. It was like, wow, it's delicious. Yeah. So I do like both of them. I really do. Grey Goose. Oh my goodness. Now I have Grey Goose in my head.
No, we are not a Grey Goose show.
We're not.
Disclaimer. We are not a Grey Goose show. Probably one vodka. Here, wait a minute. I guess we could say this. Probably name the one vodka we will never have on our show.
It's probably
Why? Grey Goose will call us and ask us now.
Well, the thing is that if it wasn't for me, we wouldn't have had Tito's either. And I keep bringing Tito's up, and we keep bringing it up, and I keep bringing the bottle, so it's, our taste buds change, and it's nothing better than local. You're using the local ingredients that just makes a drink, a distiller, like a spirit, tastes just that much better, in my opinion, because you're having what is local to where you live. And then the freshness of certain ones, sometimes it's the freshness, or just because there's certain elements there, kind of like there's one that, because of the water, Breckenridge, the water that is so clean is what makes them special. You can't get that water somewhere else. Crater Lake, you have the Oregon side in here, Oregon water that has a certain taste. And then you have Dripping Springs, that's very much Texas, so there's a certain style here, a certain flavor. So depending on where you're at, it's going to be so special for your area. So go with your local, distilleries and breweries. You're going to find something special.
That's right.
So which one did you? I mean, they both have their own specialness.
Yeah, but now the true test is now we got to try them in the Bloody Mary mix. All right, are we going to shake it, or are we just going to stir it in?
I did bring my shaker, but because this is cold, I'm okay with just stirring it in. I can.
I'm not. Mine isn't cold, so I think I might
shake.
You know what? I think I'm going to stir mine in as well, because I do my stir. So.
I do have a couple of stirs this time with me. And they're both going to have the same amount, only one's going to be taller than the other. And I'm going to go this way.
I've got my mixer. Same thing. I'm going to do my mixer, so I'm really doing an even comparison. So.
Oh, here it is. And I'm going to use the same one. So it's 3-to-1. And I'm putting in the mixer first because I want the vodka to take all the tomato juice down.
I'm going the opposite way because I'm chilling my vodka.
Well, one of the other things that I was disappointed this weekend was that not only did we have small glasses, but on top of that, it was full of ice. And it's like, okay, well, we didn't get as much as we probably should have, but they still looked really pretty. You will all see the pictures once those get posted. And careful with your bottle when you've chilled it. It is slippery when wet. So.
Yes. Did I ever tell you about the time that my dad came to visit my house?
So one thing that I forgot to do is that I had my pink Himalayan sea salt that I was going to rim my glasses with, and I forgot.
And you didn't.
I've done that so many times where I forget to rim my glasses, and it's bad habit. Bad habit.
So this one time, I know we always love these one-time stories.
Yes.
So this one time when I was living in here in Dallas, I had an apartment, and my dad came down. My mom and dad were coming down. My dad drove down. My mom flew down. My mom was coming for a show, so my dad drove her stuff down. And he gets to my house. He stays in my apartment. I had him like the front office of the apartment let him in because I was out, right? And for the day, and just let him into the house so he can get in. I had a key set for him and everything. I get home that night from my work. At the time, I had a car wash business, and when I get home, I'm tired, I'm worn out, and I go, "Hey, let's go get something to eat, Dad." And he goes, "Yes." And he says, we're gonna stop and get more vodka." I'm like, "Dad, there's a full bottle of vodka in the freezer." He said there was a full bottle of vodka in the freezer. And now you know why I've learned to control my drinking, because I get it from my dad. So
here's a.
So yeah, I'm gonna start putting some of these documents in too. So.
And got to make these look pretty.
Some other things that I usually add, but I didn't do today, was a peppercini.
Oh yeah.
Things like that. But yeah.
So this is my one that has the bacon and the bacon and shrimp. And then my other one is the, because it was a taller glass, this is where I put the slider and the cheese and the shrimp. So these are my two little guys. So I'm going to have to get a picture of this before I tear into it, y'all, because we got to. We need pictures, because pictures are always fun. Somebody told me once that it's like, oh yeah, if there's no picture, then it didn't happen.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Pictures. I'm keeping it separated so I know which one's which, because I have identical glasses.
Yeah, I have two different glasses, two on purpose. And we're gonna. I have a picture with Dripping Springs, and then a picture with Crater Lake. You're really enjoying that, aren't you? I need to be able to see the Crater Lake over here. I keep blocking it with.
Dripping Springs has a little more spice to it.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got to have a cheers here. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
I'm going to use my. Okay. Oh, wow. Yes, you're right. Oh, wow.
You see, it brings the spice out a little more.
Yeah, it does bring the spice out quite a bit.
Yeah.
That is, I was like, oh, no, it doesn't. It's like, oh, yeah, it does. That's quite interesting to have that happen. I don't know that I've had that happen before. Oh, wow. Okay. So I need my plate back because I'm going to start eating some of the food. I'm hearing things in the office.
And I wonder though, if we did this same comparison in a martini. Because I don't think we've done martinis. I think we should do it. That's what we should probably do next week, is we should do them in a martini. Same comparison.
Well, so here it's with the olive. It tastes really good. But I'm going to go with cheese and then, because I should have left the olive for this one. But once you're adding the cheese should tame everything down. As should the celery. Then I'm going to go into my shrimp because the shrimp should also make it taste, give it a slightly different taste there. Wow, that spice is there.
So I have this bacon wrapped jalapeno with cream cheese in it.
Oh, it's stuffed with cream cheese. Okay.
Which really boosted the spice. It's a stuffed jalapeno.
So I made a new recipe this weekend.
Yeah.
And that's where these shrimp came from. So these, I didn't just steam them like I normally do. What I did was that after I had made the tilapia, I added, so it was olive oil, the seasoned tilapia, did it, set it aside, tinted it. Then I added garlic, white wine, lemon, and chicken stock to get all the goodies from the tilapia. And then once that reduced down a little bit, I threw in the shrimp, cooked it, and butter, cooked it all in there, then separated my 3 shrimp that were for today. And then the rest of it went in on top of the tilapia yesterday. It was absolutely delicious sauce. It had that lemony, but yet, a little bit of garlic in there. And it just went so well. And so these shrimp actually have more flavor because of all that butter, wine, chicken stock, and garlic. These are really good shrimp.
Mm. I was going to say the favorite thing I like chewing on with Bloody Mary, though, is still a celery. I don't know why. I mean, because it's like a refreshing it's a refreshing piece of a vegetable first.
The crunchiness that spice right here. My goodness. Oh, we.
So yeah, the spice hit me. Now,
I knew that was gonna make me sneeze. I was feeling it in my throat, and I have more. And so one of the things that I did with my slider is that I did put a paper plate underneath so that it wouldn't just slide right off. Still a little bit of pink inside.
What kind of beef did you have in it?
Choice ground beef. We had bought the whole thing. We made a Salisbury steak this weekend.
Yeah.
With a really delicious sauce, and there was a couple of patties left, so I took a portion of one of the patties. Sean, for the roommate, made this half-pound patty. It was a cheeseburger. Oh my goodness, gorgeous, gorgeous. He's like, oh my goodness, this is beautiful, and he takes a bite and he's all, oh, it's delicious. But I mean, Tillamook, which is the local cheese, on top of the gorgeous patty. It was a brioche bun with the most beautiful lettuce, heirloom tomatoes, local cucumbers, or not cucumbers, pickles, and then the fixins. And it was just this deliciousness of a burger. This one, I turned it into a little slider because that's all I wanted. And it came out really good, seasoned with Wild Tree Rancher steak rub and a little bit of the Himalayan sea salt. So that is, the Himalayan sea salt that I didn't put on my Bloody Mary. It's the Private Selection pink Himalayan sea salt that's with the little grinder. Love it. It's good stuff.
So, which do you think is better with the Bloody Mary mix?
Well, If you
I'm
want
having a hard time. I'm having a hard time comparing. Is why I want to know.
Well, if you want a little bit of kick and spice, the dripping springs goes very well because it just kicks it up a notch.
Yeah.
It makes it spicy, peppery. So if you want that spice in there, the Mary's Mixers original with dripping springs, and if you put the hot,
I'm thinking if you put the hot in with the dripping springs,
that's gonna kick it up a notch.
that's gonna be like biting this jalapeno here.
Yeah.
No. Anyway.
I'm turning it into a cheeseburger slider by adding cheese.
It's just things you get the whole things you find when you're snacking, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, this one is more toned down. The Crater Lake gives it a nice mellow. I think it's what I had said that I tasted, that aftertaste that gives it that clean citrusy, just yumminess as you're drinking it by itself.
Mm-hmm.
When placed with the Bloody Mary mix, it is kicking it up a notch. It is doing that aftershock.
It's almost like there's pepper in it.
Yeah. It kicks the aftershock in there. I think it enhances the spices in the mix, that it elevates it and brings the spices up.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Crater Lake does not do that. So if you want more of a mellow, then this one's the way to go. But I've always liked a spicy Bloody Mary, but for the most part, I now ask for it mild because they make it too spicy, and then I can't enjoy it. I don't mind spice, but I want to enjoy. If it gets to the point where it's too much, then I stop enjoying it. And this one is giving you a little bit of a kick without it burning your mouth and going, oh my goodness, I can't breathe. So I like this. I really like your Dripping Springs because it gives me a little bit of a kick without too much of a kick.
Yeah. Cool.
And then if you want to tone it down, just eat your celery, eat your cheese. That's the beauty about eating food with your Bloody Mary. It just gives it a little bit of flavor, kicks it up a notch, and it also helps you not get too much of any, makes it not too strong. If you have something that's just a little too strong, this helps it tone it down.
Okay, so I can't say one vodka is better than the other. I really can't, because each has a different taste palette and each does different things.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that both vodkas I could drink by themselves.
Yep, agreed.
I encourage you, the listeners, all right, if the listeners should go before they sit here and go, well, Tim's got the better, or Gladys has got the better vodka. No, you probably have the better vodka in your state. We just haven't tasted it yet. But anyway, oh man, I do love all the food that goes around a Bloody Mary.
That's part of the fun.
Man.
This one's a fun one. I really enjoy this because I get to have all the different snacks. I love snacking. I love having a little bit of different finger foods and just enjoying each one of them, and then pairing it with what could essentially be two different Bloody Marys just because of the vodka. That gives it different characteristics. When you don't always know, you're like, oh my goodness, the best Bloody Mary. And maybe it's not the Bloody Mary itself. Maybe it is, if the bartender is making their own mix, or is it, the mix they're using, or is it the vodka they're using? Is it the ratios? I mean, there's a lot of different things that can go into what makes the best Bloody Mary. And check out, there is a Bloody Mary festival. I think I sent you the links, Tim.
I post them in the Facebook group for everybody. So I seen them, but I'm gonna let you post in the Facebook group.
Nice. There's
everybody you know about them, because I don't. That's the first I've known about them.
I was supposed to go last June here in Portland. I ended up missing it. I don't know how I missed it, but I missed it. And I had tickets too. I was like, how did I miss this? But they're having one in Austin in February. The Portland one is going to be in June. There's in Minnesota. There's going to be in October, the 7th, I think it is. So there's various ones. And one of the great things about what they do is that they're bringing in the local bars and restaurants. So local food, local spirits. So here in Portland, Crater Lake is going to be there, and they're going to have the local distilleries bringing in their vodkas and their gins and whatever else to make the Bloody Marys. I don't know if Mary's Mixer is going to be there. I have to ask Gary if he's going to be there, or at least his mixer with the Bloody Marys. So that's one great way to be able to test drive. What do you like? Is it the mixer? Is it the vodka? What is it that's making it so special for you when you get to taste it? But be very specific and don't just go to drink. Go to taste the one. Maybe leave it to 3 or 4 and leave it at that. And say, how do you like it?
It puts a whole other perspective to the idea when your bartender says, and what vodka would you like with that?
True.
Because the vodka can change the taste. In this case here, it can change the taste of your drink.
Right.
So anyway, great lesson to learn this week. So anyway, what all did you guys do New Year's Eve? Anything? No.
Dinner.
We didn't go out to dinner because I was sick. So I was feeling all right that morning, but Gwen still canceled. So my fever didn't break until later that afternoon. So.
No, you just need to rest. And
Mom was sick here for Christmas Day, so Mom wasn't feeling well, and I wasn't feeling well on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
So it's like, you know what, rest is what you needed. We made dinner at home and watched the movie. Actually, we were watching The Recruit. It's on Netflix, and Sean had work, and I'm like, I got stuff to do. I had brunch the next day, and so nope, we were done. We're like, okay, we're done. And so that was that. And then New Year's Day, he worked, and I was out with one of my friends doing the Bloody Mary extravaganza, and that was a lot of fun to do that with my friend Mary, having a Bloody Mary. So we had a good time, and it was just I worked part of Saturday or half a Saturday. Clients still sending me stuff. I'm like, I gotta take care of it. So I did my work, and then it's like I'm getting the emails and the texts, and so I worked another hour or so. So I worked a total of 4 or 5 hours on Saturday, so which was fine. It felt like a work day, and so today I'm like, I'm tired. And then half the carriers were out, so I'm like, you know what? That's okay. I was trying to catch up on a few things, and tomorrow. I also already have appointments set, so it was like a regular weekend. It did not feel like anything going on this weekend. It didn't feel like it, actually. And then with you being sick, I'm sure that you felt like, oh my goodness, what happened to this weekend?
Well, yeah, but that was the tail end of the week, the tail end of the vacation week that I just started to go down. And I was last 2 years. I've had some sort of sickness around Christmas. All right. This is now 3 years in a row. First Christmas 2 years ago, Christmas 2020, I had COVID. Christmas Day, and I was sitting there with COVID. Yeah. Last year, I got sick before Christmas, and then I was fine by Christmas, and then by New Year's, I was totally fine. But then I got COVID again, like 2 weeks after.
Oh, yes, I remember.
After New Year's last year. So last January, I had COVID again. But learning all the things that take care of my body, all right, and not overdo things is what helps me heal faster from this stuff. It's like, I didn't have that high of a fever, but I had a fever enough that it and I had sore throat. Didn't have anything else. No runny nose, none of that crap.
But it doesn't make you feel like you needed to just stay in bed and heal.
Probably. That's what I felt like. And I felt like crap. I didn't want to get off the couch. I didn't want to get out of bed and feel like even getting up. No energy. So
Our bodies sometimes talk to us and they say, you need to stop. I know my
Right.
body does
Yeah,
that.
that's when the body says stop. That's what you got to do is stop. So, anyway, that's what that we did, and it was like for me, I've never been like for us. New Year's Eve has always been go out to dinner. We have a wine bar that we usually go to. That
Right.
we had dinner scheduled because I got sick. Gwen canceled it. That we've gone to for years. All right, for our New Year's Eve dinner, and then we go at like 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then we come back home. We don't stay out about with people. Last year, not this year, we stayed at home, but last year we went out to visit friends who lived around the block. All right. After we went to dinner, we went by to their house for about an hour or so, and then we came home. So,
Yeah, staying home is perfectly fine for me. I don't.
Well,
I'm not doing something anymore.
I think I mentioned this on last year's podcast, but for me, New Year's Eve is not a celebration thing. So it's 2010. I lost my dad on New Year's Eve. I'm never going to, you know what I mean? It's never going to be a fun celebration day for me ever again because I'm never going to forget that. You know what I mean? You lose a parent on a holiday, you never forget that.
Yeah, it makes it enhances the experience of having lost them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, and it dampens the holiday. Whatever that holiday is, it dampens it. You know, for instance, personally, I don't like celebrating my birthday now because my birthday is September 10th.
Right. And then September 11th is
September 11th. For 20 years, I don't want to celebrate my birthday anymore. I hate my birthday coming around every year because of the fact that that's the memory. Mm-hmm. All right. That's where, you know what I mean? You make the best memories you can. All right. But that's where life happens. Right. You got to celebrate and enjoy when you can because you don't know when you're not going to have. Right. But those things, you know what I mean? My dad never planned to die on New Year's Eve. You know, nothing we can do. Right. It happened. Right. But I'm not going to die on New Year's Eve now because I'm not going to go out and do reckless, stupid shit anymore. Right. That's life. Right. But that also changed how I party. Because New Year's Eve I remember I used to go New Year's Eve used to be my party. I mean, to the point I used to party on New Year's Eve when I was younger to where I would drive somebody's house and I'd walk in and hand the keys to the owner of the house because I wasn't leaving. I was sleeping there. Right.
Yep. Until the next day. And that's the same thing to do.
I've in my 20s, I've crashed on quite a few living room floors after the party. That was me. Yep. So
yeah, at least you were safe and you knew. It's like, hey, this is where I'm gonna be.
I never I can tell you I've never really gotten behind the wheel where I know I shouldn't have. Ever. To me, you learn responsibility and that's me. All right. And it's probably one of the reasons why now I enjoy the drinking I do. You know what I mean? I enjoy the taste I'm having with it.
Yeah, because you're about being safe and being responsible and doing the things. And
it's not necessarily it's about now being safe now, but it's about the stupidness of it wore off. I don't want to do the stupidness of drinking. I don't know. And to me, when I sit and look at a bottle of vodka now, I can think back to my 20s where I would try to down this and see how fast I could down it just to see how drunk I could get. That's not drinking, and that's one of the reasons why you and I, came to the shows because it was always about what flavors I love.
Yeah.
What pairs good, what lightens your world up. Anyway.
Yeah, I still have of the Deep Eddy that we had gotten when we did vodkas. I still have this much, and I've brought it on the show multiple times.
Oh wow!
I had a 18-year-old Glenlivet Scotch that I put into a box of the 14-year-old, and I'm like, oh, I'll have a 14-year-old that I got in there. And it's an 18-year-old, and I'm like, oh, didn't remember I put it in there. I'm like, that's a
nice treat.
I'm like, do I drink it now or later? So my 18-year-old's like, only this much. I could have a bottle of Scotch last me a year.
Yeah.
Well, not quite. Like 11 months, because that's what had happened. I had been given a bottle of Oban, And 11 months later, I'm like having the last of it. And I'm like, just the last of it. It's 11 months, And,
Yeah. Well, I was that way with, I've yet to get any more Tim Smith's moonshine.
okay.
I poured the last of my Tim Smith's moonshine the other day. I got this new one that I really love. This American born that I got, and I found somebody who had it over the holidays. When I was shopping, wait a minute, I was shopping to find you vodka.
Oh, yeah.
When I found that vodka. Because I was trying to find that giddy up vodka and I couldn't. So then, like, you know what I mean? I this is a goody is the name of the store. And I went into goody and just walked around and looked around and you know, I said to the guy, he says, I said I like moonshines. And he said, well, we have some select stuff over there if you're interested. And he pointed me to the shelf. And I go over and the first thing I see is the American born moonshine. And I'm like, oh, heaven bells. I'm like, I'm getting me a bottle of that today. But I also got a bunch of tasters. That's where I bought a bunch of tasters for the kids.
Did you see the one that I sent you?
Yeah. I got them right here, by the way.
They were just too cute. I couldn't resist.
So first of all, this is my Christmas present from Gladys. I love this. I haven't opened this yet. I glanced through it, but I haven't opened it yet. But
it's
anyway,
Lake, and it's a taster of different flavors.
There's a pepper vodka in there, I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the other thing she sent me: Midnight Moon moonshines. Now these one here, you can get Midnight Moon. You can get various your bigger packaging companies have these.
And I love it because it was in they looked like little mason jars. I'm like, I could not resist. I'm like, I cannot not get this. Because I said, okay, what else do you have in tasters? I go, because this is getting shipped. And so the Crater Lake, she goes, well, you're already sending a Crater Lake. I said, yeah, but this has flavors. And then these, I saw them and I'm like, gotta have.
Lightning Lemonade. Okay, everybody does this in moonshine, apple pie. It's one of the most flavored. Yeah.
Dessert.
This is the moonshine that everybody goes after and tries because it's a very unique watermelon moonshine.
See how good it is.
And I think Lainey Wilson has a song called Watermelon Moonshine now. And here we go. This is the original corn, 100% corn moonshine. Now, I'm not going to taste any of these on air because of the fact that I got to get in the car and go someplace. Yeah. But anyway, this was a sweet treat to get from you. Right?
That was fun. That one I couldn't resist. It was like, oh.
That was a sweet treat to get from you. Because we get a lot of them, but we don't get these taster packs that often. Like they have like individuals in different shelves. They don't have taster packs of them. So, but no, I turned on. So the TV show that I loved, that I talked about a lot when I first started talking about this, was the Moonshiners TV show.
Right.
And one of the episodes was about making the original sour, the stuff I watched over the week while I was sitting down was the original sour mash whiskeys. Who had the original the original mass produced, and who had the original recipe doing it. All right. And Tim Smith and Tickle, all right, are two of the things from Moonshiners. And they did a whole thing of researching it. And that's something you and I will talk about on a show one day, is sour mash and the process that goes with it and the intrigue of that show,
right.
The history of the sour mash and how these guys did it. These guys, you and I we look up on the internet and pull this stuff up because we're doing an online show. These guys got in their car and drove from Virginia to Kentucky, to go to the original distillery, then to go to a different distillery in Kentucky because of the water, then to go to the Kentucky, Historical Society, and that was the most unique thing that I wish I could see in that stuff. Is they actually had a recipe, the original the first handwritten recipe for sour mash.
Oh wow!
Handwritten.
Nice.
A handwritten document that they had. I mean, the lady at the historical places. So here it is. Let me lay it on the table for you to see. You can't touch it. You can't touch it because it's parchment paper from the 1700s.
and they're wearing gloves to pull it out. And
Well, they didn't have gloves on. It was unique that they didn't have gloves on, but still, it was like, oh my gosh.
yeah, don't touch it. Still don't touch it. I was thinking the historical society person had gloves on to pull it out to
No,
lay it.
they didn't. They pulled it out of an envelope.
Oh wow!
I would have had something like that. Well, you know what I mean? Except for the fact that I don't know if it ruined the value of it, but something like that, I would have had it. What they called that sealing put onto it.
Right.
But it seems to keep well because they showed it. I mean, clear as day, you could read the words what they were showing with the camera. So that's that's drinking excitement.
True story on that. So the moonshine, I was like, okay, we have to debate if you're just gonna have it or if we want to try to do a tasting of that one of these days and put it on the podcast.
You should get the taster pack and we should do them.
I have it. I think actually I left it at home, but yes, I have the taster pack. I didn't get the Crater Lake one because I'm like, oh, I can always grab that, but I did get the moonshine one. I'm like, oh, I got to get that.
I think I think this year we'll do moonshines. It's trying to get things to fit. All right. In the show, because yes, that's my favorite. All right. But I'm pretty sure we haven't touched on favorites of yours yet either. That's just the way the show is going. Well, the show was never intended for me to get on every week and talk about my favorite and you talk about your favorite. Let's talk about drinking, and
it's what goes, and sometimes when we're deciding, it could be because something came up or because we heard something or because Cindy Lee, she says, oh, it is National
Hot and Spicy Day on January 16th.
There you go. So, we hear that and then it's like, okay, what do we do around it? The other thing we were talking about was dry January. And there's so many people that observe dry January. It's like, okay, how can we bring something that has to do with dry January? And so I've researched a lot of mocktails, and what
we will, and that's probably what we're going to do. I think one other thing we should do though, we could wait till the end of the month if I got to keep the Crater Lake so I don't drink it. If I can make it through the month without drinking your Crater Lake. We could do martinis at the end of the month because we've not done a martinis, and we compare the same thing we did today, but with martinis.
Yeah, there's so many martinis. I mean, my go-to is a dirty martini.
Yeah, mine too.
That's my go-to. Although I did have a gentleman's martini many eons ago, about 20 years ago, and that was a lot of fun. Essentially, it's a dirty martini, only they clean it up to where you don't get all the little speckles of the
ice.
Of the olive.
Oh, okay.
You're getting the olive juice, but you're not getting all the remnants. A lot of times it's cloudy when you get a dirty martini. A gentleman's martini is not cloudy because they just get it all out. It's but it was still delicious, very clean. So there's so much we can do with martinis. It's like, oh my goodness, we can spend a whole month on martinis, and then we wouldn't even touch,
Again, we would prolong and go on to a whole other realm. But anyway, no, we are going to focus a lot on, I think the dry January, I think is going to be with mocktails. That is going to be something we're going to kind of put in this month because of the fact that is something that's celebrated. And it's something that we need to acknowledge on the show. It's part of life.
And it's been around for a long time. It's some countries, they even do a dry January and dry February. They try to prolong it, and it's detoxification, just get all, everything out, try to stay healthy. And so there's a lot of things that go around dry January and the reasons why. And there's history behind it and how it has evolved over the last, 50 years. It's very different. So we'll talk about that when we do a dry January day or two. We haven't decided if we're going to do one or two, but
we haven't decided yet. Yeah. So.
Yeah, we haven't decided that, but we know we will be doing something. But today we definitely had to do Bloody Marys because it's right after New Year's, and a lot of people, today was January 1st. A lot of people drink Bloody Marys after they've been drinking all sorts of everything.
Wait a minute. That's something else I wanted to touch on. We don't have time today. Is what else we do? What else you do as New Year's Day traditions?
I don't have any. Any.
Gwen does the Black Eyed Peas. That's That's something to do. I mean, that's a family. That's a tradition for her,
Okay.
right? I knew a family that it was tradition that's all they drank all day was mimosas on New Year's Day. That was their drink all day long. No matter what meal it was, they had mimosas.
3/4 sparkling, 1/4 orange juice. That's the way I like it.
Yeah. Yes, that was about the mixture they were doing. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's what we did last year for our first of the year show was mimosas.
Yeah. Actually, I think we did it right before New Year's because we wanted to highlight some of the sparklings for those that wanted to, because I think it was from Friday to Saturday. I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. We were trying to do something around the fact that we were going to do we were going to have with with people who what they do for champagne on New Year's Eve.
Yep. There you go. So. But this has been great. Thank you for my dripping things.
Thank you.
I know, and it was funny because this noticed the difference in bottle size. That's exactly what I did when when it got sent was that it just needed to be shipped, and so sometimes when you're shipping, you got to go a little bit smaller size than you would want to send, but it's so good. So yeah.
That's it. We finally got our stuff to each other's states for the show. So anyway. So some of the stuff's coming back up with the
and you still got to go have dinner.
No, with the every now and then some of the stuff from being still comes up.
Your confidence.
So anyway, guys, this has been a fun week. All right, I know it's New Year. 2023 is going to be a great year for you, for me, for all of us. But that's only if you see it that way. All right, it's out in your outlook of life, and I really wanted to highlight that today. It's in your outlook of life. And that's why we have this show, Like the Way You Drink. It's because it's our outlook of life is we drink to enjoy things, ladies and gentlemen. We enjoy life. We enjoy being friends and talking about things. And that's what drinking was meant for us, right? Sharing times with and like next weekend is, in my family would be Russian Christmas, where we celebrate with friends and family. And that's really what our show and podcast is all about. Now, what do you have to say in closing, girl?
Yeah, it's what are you looking for towards this year? And how are you caring for yourself? What are the things that you're doing? Just remember, if you don't take care of yourself, how can you take care of your clients and how can you take care of those around you? So make sure that you look out after yourself, whatever that is for you. Is it you sleep a little bit more? Is it you take more walks or running or exercise? Is it just less alcohol in your life? Whatever that might be. And then put a goal to it. What is it that you're trying to accomplish? And just remember, it has to be very specific. It's if you're doing 3 drinks a week, well, then maybe you bring it down to 1 or 2 drinks a week. It has to be measurable. And how are you going to track it? A little calendar, just tick mark it, whatever it is. Or did you go on your walk? Tick mark, yes. Did you drink a gallon of milk or water? Gallon of water.
I want you to drink a gallon of milk.
Right? And you just tick mark it. So just put those goals out there and then just how are you doing and check in and do it every 12 weeks. How are you doing? How are you doing? And then just another thing that you could do to help us out is get on our YouTube channel and subscribe. Get your friends to subscribe for us. We're still working on that, y'all. But we have so many things that we're working on that we want to do for the show to elevate it even more and to bring more content to all of you. So we appreciate all of you for being here.
Thank you
all. Thank you very much. And in closing, this is Gladys Boutwell, Insurance by Design. I am helping small business owners in Oregon, Washington, California with their employee benefits so that they can attract and retain quality staff. If you are outside those states, guess what? I can still answer your questions and connect you with somebody local for you. And this is my co-host.
Hey guys, Tim Gillette, Simple Easy Marketing. All right. Hey, I try to make it easy, try to make it simple for you to get things done online. Go to Simple Easy Events. That's simpleeasyevents.com, as we've got another event coming up with just simple and easy training tips for you to simplify your marketing. I'm Tim Gillette. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Have a good
and we both have a we're both like the Way You Drink podcast.
That's right.
At like the Way You Drink podcast.com. All right, guys, we'll see you next week.